What is this fear that people have?
You see, people have in general this fear of losing themselves. And it takes quite some time to realize that without losing yourself, you are never going to find yourself. And that becomes quite a mystical statement. Unless you lose yourself, you are never going to find yourself. And if I am fearful of losing myself, then I will just get stuck with my fear. And in the first stage, we fear from sickness, we fear from old age, we fear from death, we fear from rejection, we fear from poverty, we fear from insult, we fear from self-defeat. Fear in so many forms. I would say that fear is quite good also in the beginning stage of life. It is an unfolding process. If we won't fear, we won't behave the way somehow we are behaving. We will be robbing, we will be stealing, we will be doing bad things. So in the name of fear, still somehow we learn to discipline our crazy desires and whims. So certain amount of fear helps us in disciplining and refining ourselves. But when we go further, then we have to go beyond this fear, and for that I would again say that there is no fearlessness. Fearlessness is possible unless one goes beyond one's sense of individuality. Because as long as you are confined with your this so-called body-mind consciousness, you will always fear to lose it. But once you transcend it, then you are ready for your body and mind to drop whenever it happens. None of us is looking for pain. By nature, we all resist pain. We want to stay away from pain. But somehow these people don't have access to healthier joy or happiness or peace. So whatever pleasure they get, they are still getting some sort of pleasure by stirring that guilt and fear. So if I could provide them an experience of peace and joy and contentment and acceptance, then why would they go for guilt and fear? Somehow they don't have anything better, that's why they are fooling around with guilt and fear. We have to provide them better thoughts, better images, better experiences, better understanding, better acceptance, and I think it is possible.
Positive use of anger, negative use of anger.
Right.
How do you deal with anger? Do you ever get angry?
Oh yes, yes, quite often. But it is no more a problem once you know what is the chemistry of anger. In the sense that anger arises when we expect something from others and they don't really fulfill our that sort of expectation. Let me share my own life experience. As a young boy, I was very idealistic. And so one day I realized, though I had a lot of ideals, that my real life was not really matching my ideals. And yet I was living on, struggling with myself, and that time I used to lose my temper very often on anyone. So sometime it dawned on me that if I am not able to lead my life in the light of my own convictions and ideals for my own good, what right do I have to expect from others to follow my convictions and ideals for my good? They may be busy with their own struggles, with their own ideals, with their own fantasies. This simple conviction, realization, brought such a change in my own anger that somehow it doesn't build up anymore like that. And I do believe that life seems tough or problematic or hard or very difficult or negative because somehow we have convinced ourselves that way. Otherwise, if we could simply convince ourselves, life is celebration, life is sharing love and light and joy, life is an experience of different sensitivities, and life is just a unique expression of the divine, then you start feeling that way too. So now how to change this conviction? That is the only, to my understanding, the whole leap. And to make this leap, we go through certain experiences or clarity or through disciplines. And once that leap has been taken by someone, even if you die, what is the big deal? I mean, someday I have got to die. If I die now, what do I lose? And if I live 100 or 1,000 years more, what am I going to get more? Somehow we live so much into fantasies, our fears, our guilts, that we get divided from our own self. We cannot really feel a sense of wholeness and fullness unless we eliminate this division, this fragmentation. When we learn to live in the moment, then all of a sudden we realize something that is beyond this body and mind. And once you realize that, then it is not a big deal whether you live or die. It is a big deal because you have still not experienced that wholeness. So you are striving one way or the other, maybe through that island, maybe through that girlfriend, through that boyfriend, through that drink, through that house, through that power. I would have that sense of wholeness. It has never ever happened in the history of mankind. But the mind is so dumb in that sense, or so lazy, or so stubborn, that it takes its own time to learn that simple lesson.
I heard a couple of weeks ago, the Pope said meditation is evil. To meditate, to do yoga is evil.
Really?
He said yoga was evil.
I cannot believe it, but I cannot imagine that you will be telling a lie.
And the Christian fundamentalists on television are telling you yoga's evil and meditation's evil, and when you open yourself up, the false gods come in, and you hear all this thing. What meditation? Tell me about meditation.
I would say meditation is the fertile soil which bears the fruits of peace, love and compassion. How am I going to be peaceful? How am I going to be compassionate? So I think they may be using this term in their own way. I don't know what that meaning could be, but that's what I cannot imagine someone in that position putting something down which is really so much valuable or has been accepted valuable. I mean, it is just like making judgment on something without even trying to know what it stands for.
Sounds like fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown, or they somehow want to sell something with their own label. I mean, they are selling the same contents, but they are more interested about the label. Unless you buy my medicine with the name or labeling of Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism, I am not happy. So I am not so much concerned about the contents, I am more concerned about the label or labeling. So it is just again our humanness and just silly game of the mind. And
is it a place? Is it a level of consciousness? Is it a collective consciousness? When you meditate, where are you?
That is the beauty of meditation, that I cannot define where I am. As long as I can define where I am not in meditation. So meditation is that space which is beyond all limitations. You feel the energy, you feel the joy, you feel the contentment, you experience the freedom, and yet you don't know what is the cause of it. So then you end up concluding you must be the cause, or you are the cause, or you are the very freedom, the very peace, the very joy, the very liberation, whatever. Language fails there. There is no mind. I mean, all these categories and all these definitions and all these characteristics belong to our this dualistic mind. Like if I ask you, when you are in sound sleep, where are you? Or when you are enjoying your cup of coffee, when you are really enjoying your cup of coffee, where are you? I mean, if you remember that where you are, what is the size of the cup, what is the color of the coffee, then you are not enjoying it. The moment you enjoy, when you enjoy anything, you see, meditation provides the setting in which those catalysts of happiness are not required. You can reach that space of happiness within yourself and by yourself. Otherwise, any experience of joy and happiness It is always the same. There is no really difference. The difference is that when there is a catalyst of a coffee or a movie or a drink or a partner, then you hold on to that partner, to that drink, to that movie. You just forget that it is the space is the same. The space of contentment and happiness is the same. Somehow you have been brought to that space through that catalyst. So when you learn to reach that space without any catalyst, that is meditation, but it's the same space. It is good. What is the big deal? You have experienced it. I mean, and then you come back to your normal consciousness. You feel hungry, you feel cold, you feel heat, you feel your day-to-day needs and desires sometimes also, but that's all right, but you get the conviction. It is the conviction that is really important.
Is there a cosmic divine plan, or do we create this plan every day of our lives? Are we following a plan, or are we creating a plan?
Again, to me it is simply two ways of looking at one particular thing. It is, to me, it is just like asking whether the glass is half filled or glass is half empty. And now I don't know how to respond to this question. I may say yes this way, or I may say yes that way. It is both. You cannot differentiate yourself from the cosmic plan. Who are you apart from the cosmic plan? You are already taking yourself for granted as if you are apart from the cosmic plan. Unless you define yourself apart from the cosmic plan or cosmic scheme, how can I respond to that question? And to me, that separation is simply an illusion, a fiction, or just an apparent reality. Psychologically, we have this sense of individuality. But when you trace the core of this individuality, you find it is not there. It is simply pure universal awareness or energy, which is somehow expressing through this body-mind complex in the form of so-called individuality. And to elaborate this point, I can remind you of your dreams, that when you dream, you create a whole world of dream, and then in the same world of dream, you have still a separate entity, so-called your own self. Now when you go through pleasure and pain in the dream, you consider them real. Or if you are drowning in a dream, you consider you are actually drowning. But when you awake, you get to know that this pain and pleasure and drowning self of the dream was simply a fiction, was simply a projection. But you cannot realize this fact unless you are awake from the dream. In the dream, whatever you go through is as real as any experience of the waking state. So same thing is happening here. We take this body and mind as absolutely real, but it is not real. It is only apparently real, as it was real in the dream. Unless and until we go beyond this body-mind identification, we just keep on repeating the same vicious circle. So I personally think and believe that the first and foremost requirement is owning this self and watching this self, accepting this self, trusting this self, and in the process of watching, accepting and trusting, transcending the self. And when one transcends the self, then one is free forever. One can relate to anything which comes one's life in a very playful, gentle, loving way. Then one considers neither superior to someone nor inferior to someone, because one is part of the whole and one is the whole.